Okay. Nice. So thank you everybody to join today. This is the first meeting of the data facade community group. And the way we want to do this, we may have a round of introductions so we can know each other and can say a few things about why you are here, what's your interest in the group. Then together with Luigi, we prepared a quick presentation just to give, like to sketch the scene about this community group, and then we can have some discussion after. So I will start. My name is Enrico Daga. I work at the Open University. Together with Luigi, we started this open source project, Sparkle Anything, based on a piece of our research on data integration, the idea of FacadeX. And now Luigi will tell you a bit about what happened so far and what we want to add to. Luigi, maybe you want to introduce yourself and then we have a round of introductions.
Yes, thank you. I'm Luigi Asprino. I'm a researcher at CNR, the National Research Council in Italy, and as Enrico said, this is a 5 years collaboration for addressing the problem of data integration by using the facade-based data access, and and that's led us to propose this community group and how to open the discussion with the community towards the standardization and also to foster the adoption of this approach. Okay, anyone wants to present?
I can go.
Yeah.
So hi.
Thank you.
My name is Marco, and I'm also based at the Open University. I'm a PhD student under the supervision of Enrico. And so I've been working with FacadeX for a few years now, and I've pretty much kind of built and maintained the Python library of Sparkle Anything, if anyone has ever used that. And FacadeX is also, and data facades are part of my PhD work, which I explore in order to see whether they can be leveraged to produce automated knowledge graph pipelines from a variety of formats.
Thank you, Marco, for breaking the ice. I can name the next one. Ivo, do you want to jump in? Introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello. I'm Ivo Velichkov. I'm an independent consultant. I work with organizations mainly in the public sector, mainly EU institutions. And I think I started using it a few years ago. And currently there is an interesting proof of concept and two of the people involved in that are also in this group. So we are really looking forward to how, if we can implement this at scale.
Thank you, Ivo. Who wants to go next? Go. Els or Ils, sorry.
Yeah, it's Els.
Els? Okay. Right.
So I'm
welcome.
Hi, I'm working in Ghent in the NOS team. That's IMEC and Ghent University. I'm mostly working on RDF mapping language. I've been very active within that community group, and we're moving also there towards a working group. I think it's very interesting to see also what is going on here. And I've especially been busy with formulating logical views within RML, so there's an overlap with what FacadeX is doing. So it's very interesting for me to join this group as well.
Thank you, welcome. Ryan, maybe? Oh. Or Leonard? Okay, Ryan first. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Ryan Shaw. I'm an associate professor in the School of Information and Library Science at the University of North Carolina. I've been using Sparkle Anything on my recent projects and plan to use it more in the future, although I'm also interested in running in other contexts. And so that's why I was interested in getting involved with this working group.
Thank you. Leonard.
Hi, I'm Leonard. I'm a data engineer, also from Belgium, Ghent, but I work for Memo, which is a digital archive for audiovisual materials. The last couple of years, we've been creating our own knowledge graph with different mapping technologies, also including Sparkle Anything. So, yeah.
Thank you. So, who wants to go next?
I will continue, for example. So,
Hi.
my name is Salva. I'm actually a semantic senior engineer in entity data company. Also, I'm a researcher because I'm finishing this month my PhD thesis. And actually, I am working with Ivo and Christian Vasquez within the PPDS project using Sparkle Anything as a proof of concept in order to try to replace the parts of the transformer that we have with RML mappings with Sparkle Anything.
Thank you. Welcome. And I think last one, Christian, welcome. We can't hear you, at least I can't.
Because of this.
Okay.
My name is Christian and I'm a software engineer. I help people to model and build knowledge graphs. And I used FaçadeX for some times now. And yes, it's simple and powerful. So I'm happy to be here and learn more.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Great. So thank you so much, everybody, to be here today. I'll pass the lead to Luigi so that we can have this quick presentation just to share a bit the background.
Yes. I think that you can already see my screen, right?
Correct. Yes, we see.
Yeah. Okay. So before starting, Enrico, have you started the description of the meeting?
Yes, it's recording already.
Yeah, okay, great. So we have already addressed the introductions, why we're here, and affiliation background. So the objective of I think that you already know it, but let's do a brief recap. So the primary goal of this community group is to foster long-term stability and the broader adoption of facade-based data access, so accessing heterogeneous web data using data facades. What is the problem here? We have multiple heterogeneous sources with serialized in heterogeneous formats, and instead of accessing them independently with different parsers and by applying ad hoc transformation, here we access them by through a data facade. A data facade is an homogeneous view over heterogeneous data formats, and this has many advantages. And you can, for example, express data according to a standard language and standard format like RDF, and access data in Sparkle. Okay. And how did we get here? So everything started from in the context of an European project, SPICE, in the 2020, where Enrico and I faced the very common problem of integrating multiple data sources there for the domain of cultural heritage, and we started analyzing the problem, and we wanted to contribute with a new solution for the problem. That led us to propose this new approach of accessing data through the lens of a facade, and we wrote this we described this approach in a paper presented at Semantics 2021, in which we outlined the main requirements for the problem, and also we proposed a proof of concept for this approach, which is the Sparkle Anything tool, which at the time was also published as an open source project on GitHub. Then in the next years, we worked towards providing more robust theoretical foundation of the problem. We demonstrated also properties of our approach, benefits, and also characteristics of the tool, in the sense of we measured performance, also performance indicators for the tool, but I think that in the next years, one major milestone was in 2023, when we published the paper in the ACM transaction on Internet Technologies, where we demonstrated that the approach is actually, we can apply the approach on any data source, which is whose format can be described by a formal grammar, so any format that is described by a BNF, or and also any relational database. So in that paper, we demonstrated that the approach is general enough to cover all of these kind of data sources. And of course, we continued working on improving the engineering of the tool, and also trying to grow a community around the project and the approach. And in this year, we proposed a community group to the W3C, which had 5 supporters, and that's why we are here. So yeah, that here you can find a list if you want to read something about the approach, and also the demonstration that I just talked about. And so the objective of the community group is, this community group has many objectives. So first, further develop the approach, the FasadeX method, standardize the meta model used for accessing data, but also standardize the mappings, so the way of different formats are translated into FasadeX, and we want to establish a process for proposing, for adding new formats to the facades, and also since this kind of data is then accessible via Sparkle, and in Sparkle Anything we have developed a dialect for that. And we want also to standardize these dialects, and I'm very happy that someone from other groups have joined the discussion, since we are of course open to the collaboration to other W3C groups, in order to foster the engagement, and also support the development of other implementation of this approach other than Sparkle Anything. And of course, we are open also to discuss this with the community, and maybe establish new objectives for the community group. As I said before, the community group had 5 supporters, which I'm happy to give credit to. and at the moment the chairs are Enrico and me, but if anyone wants to join, we are very happy to have another chair of the meeting of the community group. At the moment we have 16, not 15 participants. And we hope that this community will, of course, grow in the next future. Meetings, this can be discussed, of course, but we plan to have monthly meetings. Meetings will be recorded, and in order to give the opportunity of catching up with the meeting if someone cannot participate, and the minutes will circulate at the end of the meeting. Discussion. Well, this is the agenda for today. The idea is to discuss a roadmap for the next months, to discuss some details about the management, the space for collaborating, and the website, which templates. Maybe someone has already participated to a community group and can give us some suggestions on templates and all of this stuff. If we plan to have yearly reports, or I don't know, reports for the results of the discussion of this group. Maybe an idea could be have a yearly report. I don't know, something to be discussed. And also the idea for this meeting also is to have a focus on, maybe we can have also for the next meeting a focus on I don't know, the background of a participant, also or case study that you want to propose, or maybe we can have also webinars within this meeting. That's the ideas to be discussed with the group. Okay. I don't know if Enrico wants to
thank you,
add.
Luigi. No, this is fine. We can go through the agenda and start to kind of sketch the basis of what we're going to do in the next months, I suppose. Before that, if anybody has questions or wants to add anything, and anytime, please feel free to raise your hand and join the discussion. So, can you keep sharing your screen, Luigi? Because it's
okay.
useful, because that's the agenda as well. So maybe
sure.
I think so. In my idea, it would be good today to list the main kind of gather a bit the objectives for the first year, maybe. The first thing I will say is, because we have developed a lot the approach in the open source project, we discussed a lot about how the FaçadeX looks like. I think the main thing now is that we don't have yet specification apart from what is in the documentation and in the papers. So the first milestone will be, I think, to define a FaçadeX specification, like as the reference meta model. I think this may have some. I have already some questions about that, and I don't know if anybody wants to help. Feel free. But my main question to be started with is what kind of formalization we should give, because FaçadeX is not. I mean, we can have a vocabulary, for example, but as a vocabulary is a quite peculiar characteristics. For example, as an open-ended set of properties, as an open-ended set of. So we can define, for example, types of properties and give build a kind of structured vocabulary, but that would be a kind of meta model. We can do it in RDF, of course, but then I would like to see this formalization useful also to define mappings with the various meta models. So yeah, I don't know. I think we will have to look into examples of other specification and try to see what kind of formalization we can provide. Certainly, we want to provide an RDF vocabulary, which is essentially what we can generate through the facade. But yeah, I think this is the main, the first, let's say, piece of work will be that. And in that, we can join a lot of the discussions we're having on the SPARQL Anything, within the SPARQL Anything community, for example, about how to represent specific things in the various formats. Like, for example, we had a discussion a few days ago on null values in JSON files. So normally, we don't transform null values in JSON files, but there may be use cases where we want to transform that. So maybe we need to understand how, maybe all this discussion will go into the specification we're going to provide. So that would be the first objective. And I think this is where we are going to work immediately. And then after that, I think the next step is how do we formalize mappings between the various formats. And again, probably this will come after, as soon as we have a language to a way to express FACAD-X in the spec, we will be able to start describing what we called profiles informally between me and Luigi. I don't know if this is the right way of describing that, but either we describe them as FACAD-X profiles, for example, profile for CSV, for JSON, and so forth, or we want to instead describe these as mappings. So mappings to CSV, JSON, and so forth. This I don't know yet, but this is the kind of things we are thinking about.
So an idea could be use some language that could so specify the meta model and the mappings in a language so that the artifact that we create would be a working artifact. For example, if we specify in Shackle or other kind of a standard language like this one, we could also use the artifact. For example, if we specify the meta model in Shackle, maybe we can use it to verify if a graph is compliant with the specification. That could be an idea, because we already specified this we used predicate logics for defining mappings, meta models, the meta model behind the approach, but it is not a standard language, and maybe there are things that are not defined because the expressiveness of the predict logic is not allows to for example to go into the technicalities of the various formats. So that's so I don't know. I'm not familiar with Shackle and also other kind or other languages like this, but
I think certainly we need to build bridges between the facade and existing W3C specification. So I'm sure that understanding how much, whether we can express the facade in Shackle, that's I think certainly a task that we need to add to the stack. Similarly, probably we should also try and collect some existing specifications that are similar in intent. I don't know, I'm thinking about the direct mapping specification. It's an old one, but certainly they will have to, that kind of specification will have to express similar things. So maybe we can see what kind of formalism they're using there.
Okay, so can I ask something?
Please.
Okay, so one of the things that I was missing when I was using the XFacade language was the explanation, for example, for every kind of object property or data type property that you were using within the XFASAD language. So I think it could be a good idea to specify an ontology model in order to explain all of these object properties and all of those classes that can be managed within this XFASAD language to be standardized. I mean, if you reuse ontologies, you will also obtain that standardization. So I think it's going to be, I mean, it may be a good approach because, for example,
this is absolutely correct. I agree. Yeah, and also I'm not sure how much of the assumptions we have while using FASADX can be actually represented in an OWL ontology or in an RDFS vocabulary, and what kind of inferences we may want to consider. I think that's a very good idea. So definitely we need to provide the FASADX vocabulary, of course, RDF vocabulary with precise description of all the components.
Yeah, because the thing is that I was facing a lot of problems because of the language that is behind with the numeric predicates that would contain the RDF1, RDF2, etc. So we managed to do something else. I mean, Ivo knows very well what we did within this PPDS project. So we obtained, I made like some changes within the Sparkle query in order to generate the blind graph of XFASAD in order to update it with some meaningful predicates. So instead of adding this information within this Sparkle query, just add it directly by adding an ontology behind that allows us to obtain those meaningful predicates, those meaningful classes, and etc.
Okay, I think this is a good idea. And actually, you're touching a topic that I wanted to maybe Luigi, you mentioned that, but I think it's good to repeat that. So maybe in the next meetings we can start with some case studies from you, when you can highlight some criticalities or things that you may want to discuss and you think are important for the development of the specification. That would be great. And we can actually decide that every meeting someone brings, we can start with 15-20 minutes of case studies, and so that we can have some feedback of the use of the facade. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Ivo.
What I imagined was missing, and is also what Salva is talking about. Indeed, to have a vocabulary, and I think it could be started just at RDFS level. Maybe OWL is not needed at all, or it can be started directly in Shackle. That's also a possibility, and it's being done the last few years quite often. And once there is something, then if it's not appropriate for some cases that are too general and we find the RDF formalization specific, we want to go larger than that, then we can compare with alternatives. But having something to talk about and because even just to have the standard metadata of each property would be already something that's currently missing, and we suffer because of that.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, sometimes this is one thing we always postponed with Luigi. So we always thought, okay, let's now only focus on the data and let's not overload the approach with generating all the instances of the schema objects. So maybe this is something that we should clearly discuss. And once we have a vocabulary, we can add that both to the facade as an idea, but also to the tool. Sparkle, I think, can generate definitely all the triples for all the types and properties that is being generating.
And while doing so, it's important to see which are the generic ones, which are those that are properly extrastate, and which are specific for when it's using JSON or XML. That's I think quite important. Even later on, when the generalization effort will show how the whole specification will look. That distinction is quite important.
I see. So are you suggesting that, for example, we should have a vocabulary for each format? Because that would I don't know if I would agree on that.
No, I believe that there should be an attempt to make it as general as possible. Like, for example, something which would work for all kind of tabular formats. And only then, if there is something specific for, I don't know, CSV or one SQL source, then have it in a separate profile that would cater only for. Because I think, for example, for XML, the querying the path is something very specific that would not be the case for many other formats, like JSON, for example. JSON, you have different path language. So in that sense, in all cases, this decision what would be generalized, and also I think we had some discussions even about going beyond RDF if somebody wants to consider using it, I don't know, for not using Sparkle but Cypher, having another implementation for that. Maybe that's also a possibility. Maybe I'm personally not interested at all, but it seems that this is quite powerful and generic, and maybe can be broadened.
Agreed. We had we had thought about it. Clearly, we haven't pursued it because we mainly are interested in RDF and related technologies in our work, because that's the kind of technologies we work with. But I agree that maybe the FacadeX specification should be something separate from the FacadeX vocabulary, so that we can work with it even outside RDF, and probably also doing the mappings between through the various formats. It would be probably more easy to do through a generic specification rather than from a vocabulary. So probably we have to do that. We have to do a specification for the meta model and correlate that with a vocabulary, with an RDF vocabulary, and then understand when we apply this vocabulary to the various formats, how much we need to extend, if there is any primitive that we need to add, for example. Nice. The second thing we definitely need to do is to specify the way facades can be queried via Sparkle. So far we have developed some approaches with Sparkle Anything using the service clause, with custom vocabulary to specify properties, but I don't know whether that's the best. Maybe, so we either have to specify that and kind of think a bit top down whether that's the best way to go, that is the only way to go. Maybe there are other techniques that will allow to do that, but certainly a Sparkle a specification to kind of use the facade with Sparkle is needed. And so that would be the second big outcome of this community group. Ivo.
Yeah, I personally find it, I cannot think of another approach, basically because that was the reason to have interest in that technology, because all others seems to change Sparkle while this keeps the Sparkle as it is. And it's sort of a de facto standard to go this way. For example, if you look at other implementations like Workbench. Workbench has this partitioning in projects, and to query each project again, you point to the project using the service clause. So it's something maybe not described as such in the Sparkle spec. Maybe we can propose to do so, but it's well established, and it doesn't give the feeling that you are extending Sparkle. And I think
agree. Yeah. No, I agree, and I intend to keep it that way. So I intend to try to work outside the idea that we have to change. We need to change the language. We need to change Sparkle, but still, I'm not sure how. For example, if there is a better way we can pass parameters to the service specification, where there is even a standard way of doing so. What we do use magic properties, which is probably a fair way of extending Sparkle, but I'm still interested into exploring, for example, what the RDF working group thinks about generalizing the service service keyword description. In RDF 1.2, for example, they kind of did that with the graph, with name graphs. So by I looked at the working draft, and they say something like that name graphs may be, the semantics of name graphs may be overloaded by implementations. So maybe something like that can be done with the service clause as well.
Yeah. Have you considered a direction such as having it sort of closer to curl, so that it reuses all this experience with curl?
I'm not sure I understood, Ivo. Can you
in the sense of
that
sending
concept?
parameters, the service clause sending parameters to APIs and endpoints?
In the HTTP request, or yeah, actually not. That could be an idea. So instead of injecting parameters in the service clause, the service IRI, or in the BGP, maybe we can, since it is Sparkle is a service, so maybe we can use the HTTP message to carry the options.
You mean like develop a URL kind of convention that we can attach? Yeah, that could be actually a good idea.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes, that's a very good idea. We will have to think about it, and maybe we can have this discussion when we go to on that side of the work. Nice.
Yeah, or maybe we, as we did, it could be another way of passing parameters, like via the command line interface. But if you use an online endpoint, you can also inject into the HTTP request or the URL, and so that's a very good point.
Well, I don't know about splitting it, because I think now it's quite neat and everything is as proper Sparkle. The parameters are triples. That's, I think, quite important.
Yes, I mean, maybe it's not needed. I don't know, but we will have this discussion when we touch that topic. As I say, I would say for now, as a roadmap, we will certainly have phase 1 on the FacadeX specification, and maybe we can start sketching a phase 2 when we formalize the Sparkle, the way to use data facades in Sparkle. So the other aspect, which is probably a bit early, but I want to mention it anyway, is that we, with Sparkle Anything, we experimented applying the facade to a number of formats. Some of them have a specification, or some of them are kind of de facto specifications or easy specification, like CSVs. I don't think there is any specification for that, but it's quite common knowledge. JSON has a kind of specification. XML is a strong specification, but there are other sources that haven't been, they don't have like a formal specification. I don't know if Markdown has a formal specification, for example, and I'm not sure about PowerPoints. What we did is we looked at the software API, the software libraries, and since you can represent like object-oriented objects as facades, that it was very easy for us to map those data models, those models to the facade. But I mean, this was like things that we did as developers, so we haven't really specified anything like that. So I think maybe a good question at a certain point will be, how do we establish a process for defining new mappings? So what will be the sources of these mappings, and what will be, well, we know the target is the facade. It is when you have a BNF, for example, a form that can be expressed with a BNF grammar, we know how to do that formally, but I don't know if we have like a Markdown object. I'm not sure. We will probably need, I don't know if we need to formalize the Markdown object or to understand how to find a formalization somewhere. I don't know. But yes, this is kind of there is a gray area, let's say, outside data sources that have a history of being strongly formalized and data sources that don't. Lannert.
I think you also need to look at the versioning if you're talking about specifying standards. For example, when one input your mapping changes, then you also have to think about how you version your own mapping ontology.
Certainly, we will need to version all our specification. If it's about versioning the mappings, I think in our approach, mappings are SPARQL queries. So it's about versioning the SPARQL queries. I think versioning anyway is a very important topic. We certainly need to think about what's the impact of change in the mappings, and actually that opens an aspect that I hadn't think about it before, which is whether this working group, this community group, should also maybe reflect on ideas about how to collect and share these construct queries that use the facade, and maybe or how to formalize them in a mapping language. Okay, I think we touched some good stuff. Maybe we can move to the if there is no one wants to add anything, we can move to the boring part. So we need to set up a bit of a collaboration space. Oh, Ivo.
Just one last point. I think the fate of this will depend on heavy implementations. And so if we can proactively see who could be interested in that, I already talked with a startup developing RDF stuff who are interested to make an implementation, probably a combination of Rust and Python. But that's insufficient. I think two things: having different implementations and actually being used in industry is what will decide the fate of this.
I totally agree, and I think you're right. We should put in our agenda a bit of networking, especially with RDF database vendors. Maybe there can be an opportunity also through some of the. We have this idea of organizing some webinars, inviting practitioners in the RDF world, and maybe we can invite RDF database vendors to give a presentation of their product and discuss with us their needs in terms of data integration. Yes, you're totally right. We already had some contact with some of them through the open source, through the SPARQL Anything project. I know that so there is some. I know some people have used SPARQL Anything, but we don't know much about that. We should explore that as part of the work of the community group. Thank you for mentioning that. Okay, so I think the choice of using GitHub as a shared space, I think it's a no-brainer, and I think this has been also used by other W3C, both community groups, working groups. So I think this is absolutely fine. So our idea is to create an organization for the Data Facade community group. We will share the details on the mailing list, and please. All of you are invited to join with your GitHub accounts. And among the clerical tasks, we want to start building a website, but as soon as we have something to say, probably, because anyway we have the W3C community group WordPress as a blog, so we can still produce things there. But when we have the initial specifications, we will probably want to have website when we list the specs, and people can also look at them, comment through probably through GitHub. That probably will be a GitHub page, a website. And maybe we can also look into how other community groups have done, whether there are any like templates for the specifications and what kind of workflows they use. Ivo, you want to say anything?
Yes, I think there is already an established practice using RISPEC for producing these specifications, and there is a way to integrate this publishing from GitHub directly to appear in the W3C subdomain.
Okay, do you know, do you have some reference of GitHub projects that do that we can look at so that we can use?
Well, basically all of them. Now we can see the new Shackle specifications being worked like that. DCAT, the new RDF, the new Sparkle, everything is worked like that.
Okay. Else?
Yes, and I can share that also within RML this is used, RISPEC is used, and you can find all of the repositories that are included online. So
nice.
I guess
okay,
you can have some inspiration there.
Good, thank you. Okay. Nice.
So what's the next meeting will be about? So where do we start? From the specification of the meta model? We start discussing the specification, the meta model, I think, which is the main issue here. And then later we address mappings and some Sparkle details. So maybe an idea could be start from the specification of the meta model of FasadX, so required properties and the shapes of things that are generated by tools and so on. So maybe I think that is the main point that that comes from this discussion.
Certainly, that's the starting point. In the meantime, we should probably look into the workflow. We're looking at some examples of how these things are published. We can create the organization, invite everybody, and maybe we can use the issue tracker to also keep track of the progress.
Yeah.
And the various tasks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anybody wants to present their work during the next meeting in 1 month, so that we can start to have like sharing use cases and problems, opportunities. I think it will be okay also showing like how you use Sparkle or anything in your projects. That will be sufficient. Thank you, Ryan. Yes, that's great. Fantastic. Then you are you're in. Great. Okay. And in the meantime, if anybody wants to also think about who we could invite in the next period, we want to organize some webinars, maybe open to everybody, in addition to like the monthly meeting, because there will be no time to do both things. So if you have any idea of possible people to invite, just let us know, even outside the mailing list, so we can have a chat. It would be nice during the year, so from now until next October, to hear from a few database vendors or companies that are active in this space. Okay. I think we are at the A or B part of the agenda. Is there anything else that you want to say today, or we can plan for the next meeting? So is this time okay for us? I know we are in different parts of the world, of different time zones, especially some people from the US. Is this time okay for you, Ryan, for example, for next meeting? Yeah, nice. So let's look at the calendar and so in 1 month, it will be the 24th of November. Same time. Okay.
Yes.
So I won't be able to make it that week because that's it's the beginning of our Thanksgiving holiday.
Oh, I see.
Ah,
Okay, there's holidays. Well, I guess we can always go to the 1st December, I think. We shift 1 week and we try to keep the first Monday of the month. What do you think?
I think it's better.
Nice. Okay. Fantastic. Else?
I clicked the wrong button. I wanted to say it's okay.
Sorry, what did you say?
I just clicked the wrong button. I wanted to say thumbs up that it's okay, but I pressed
Okay.
the raise. So sorry, my mistake.
That's fine. Okay, so let's keep it for the 1st of December, same time as today. I will make circulate the link to the meeting in the following weeks through the email, to the shared list. So if this is all, thank you so much for supporting this. I really mean it. This is very important to us, and I really hope this community group will grow and succeed. So thank you so much, everybody. And nice to meeting you all.
thank you, Enrico. Thank you. Oh,
Thank you. Bye.
bye.
Thank you.
Vabbè,
Bravo.
bravo tu.
Aspetta che fammi fermare la registrazione. Vabbè, tanto quella non è che condividiamo il transcript.